la clothes or is it just my de la soul? What I do ain't make believe. People say I sit and try, but when it comes to being de la, it's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I.
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yes, sir.
Episode 131 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now.
It's only a month away from St. Paddy's Day, so maybe, try your luck of the Irish and use your 15% promo code TrueFan15 to get you some gear from Grit Clothing Company on the South Side.
It's also E-Roc season because his birthday's at the end of the month.
That's true. They're helping me after me Lucky Charms.
As always, I am Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Roc. We're all discombobulated at this point. This is what happens when you record on Zoom for like a month.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Now, what's up, E? What's going on?
What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. If you're a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. And don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can subscribe for as low as 99 cents a month. Listen, do you like the show?
I do.
Are you a fan?
Oh, yeah.
Then tell your friends, and they will tell their friends, and we can all be friends, just like Biggie said. If you like what we do, if we, pique some interest in the topic that you're thinking about this week, please go ahead and share it with others who you feel would like it as well, or just play it in the car and let some unsuspecting victim listen to our voices for an hour and a half. What's good, Z, man? It's been a little bit since I seen you in person, man. How you been?
Oh, man, dude, it's been crazy, man. This work thing is, I don't recommend it. This adulting, man, 0 stars.
Okay.
No, man,
the single guy is saying that. Well, single in the sense that you're not married and no children.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's actually calmed down a little bit, but the kids, we started off with a win, then we lost 2 close games. And then we had practice all week last week, but they canceled the games because the Southside schools were getting to the venues like an hour and a half late.
Oh.
So we would get there first, even though our game was at 6:30, we would get there at 4:30. And they're like, well, you're here and they're here. You guys play each other. And they threw off the schedule completely.
Okay.
And so this week, because the busing issues, they canceled all the games. So I was practicing the boys, and I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to dust it off.
I'm going to dust it off, and I'm going to dust you off.
Yeah, WD-40 my hips. And, I was running the offense with the kids. I was the second team, and we were moving the ball pretty good and so forth. I had a breakaway, and I went up for I'm ambidextrous. I can go both ways on when playing the basketball, and I had to cover my ass there. Hey, look at that! And I went up for a left-hand layup. I literally stepped super hard, and I was like, I'm gonna launch off. Man, I was about 6 inches short of fucking dunking.
Did you leave a footprint in the court?
Oh my God. They're like, who left a rhino in here? Yeah, man. It looked like I blew a flat tire. That's how far I was going up and just poof.
Your air bubble on your Air Max or no?
Man. the kids are like, man, we thought you were gonna dunk. I'm like, yeah.
So did I.
20 years ago, I would have dunked. Not no more, man.
Oh, man.
So they got a good laugh about that, and I told them, like, hey, that's gonna happen, but let's work on fundamentals. So hopefully we finish the season. I think we have like 3.5 to 4 games left. I'm done with the season already.
Yeah,
just because of the busing issues and so forth. And we're playing at all the way by the metro station, like Narragansett and Dickens.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we don't have a home court because we have no gym. We really technically have
no gym.
So our home games are there at the Clemente of Acero. And then our away games are on the south side of 55th and Kedzie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'll be driving my ass there. Assistant coach, you can ride the bus.
in case I need to make a quick escape.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And then, I talked about bowling last week and how, like, myself and Steven and Sean and our new friend Tim bowled our asses off and took out the champs from Output, took them out. So it's nice. I got the results, and we made it to the playoffs.
Nice.
So we're going downstate to Peoria, myself, Sean, and Steve, and Tim. And then me and Tim bought into doubles, so we're competing for a doubles championship as well. And then I ended up being the highest bowler of the day.
How high were you?
Not as high as he. But with my handicap, because for some reason the bowling.com the official scores still has my average as a 131. I'm an average of 158 now, so they took that average because that's the official average and gave me 80 points.
Oh, I
added
get it.
Added to all my games, so I ended up being the highest score bowler. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to say shit about that.
Right. On a technicality.
On a technicality.
Right.
We'll take that. And then I bowled on Valentine's Day and scored
That's
no
so
higher
sweet.
than a 125.
Playing with your balls on Valentine's Day, that's so sweet. I mean, I could have went with fingering your holes, but
Whoa.
hey.
I do finger the holes, yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then, yeah. That's my routine. If you don't know who I'm bowling, that's what the reference from. But, I mean, the bowling gods will quickly give it to you and quickly take it away.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of any sport, right? Like
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit of that golf documentary on Netflix. It's like called Full Swing, and it's like these young kids, right? Like I don't know, Joe Smith and Bob Smith. I don't know, just generic looking white dudes playing golf. Like it's you could carbon copy all these dudes, and I'm sitting there, I'm like really trying very hard to like make this interesting, and I'm like, holy shit. This is boring. Like watching spoiled rich kids complain about not fucking being good at hitting a stick or hitting a ball with a stick. I had to like I had to get the AED out a couple times. I was flatlining on the sofa like fuck man. I was like yeah. But I mean, so it's the thing is like it comes quick and it gets taken away just that easy. Like when you feel like you're in a groove, and then it's any type of especially like an individual sport like where yes you're on a team but like you're the only one individually going for that goal or that score every time. So it does definitely get tricky.
No, it was crazy because I was definitely hungover, probably still drunk when I got there to bowl, and the guys are like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm like, "I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they bowling gods are very fickle, and they took it away. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with that I'm running with the kids on basketball. I'm teaching floor hockey. I'm bowling twice a week, and my back is just giving me shit, man. And I know we talked about off air. Your back is kind of fucked up too.
Yeah, my back has been giving me. So ever since I went bowling with you guys, yeah, right. Ever since I went bowling, and that was the thing is that I had never intended to bowl. Right, like when we were supposed to go over here by my house.
Yeah, it was over here. Yeah,
and I was like,
thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Steven.
Thanks, Steven. Yeah. But it was like, I was like, hey, I'm not going to bowl, but can I just stand there and like drink beer and make fun of you guys? And you're like, yeah. So I came through and I was like, no cars. I was like, this is weird. I recognize your car. And I was like, it's not here. And you're like, oh, my bad. So I went over to my pop's old spot where he used to do his leagues at Diversity River. And as soon, I think you guys had no idea I was coming, right? Because after that, because the other place is like 2 blocks from my house.
Yep.
So I show up and you guys are like, oh, shit. And you're like, you got to play. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, let me get this Fred Flintstone fucking used by everyone since 1976 bowling ball in here. And of course, I got the heaviest one because none of them fit my fingers.
Nope.
And I didn't do terrible. I mean, I got over 100 both games, and I was like, shit. I was like, 100's good, right? Like out of 100, 100 is good.
100 is good for someone who doesn't bowl.
But yeah, since then, and then like I did some pitching, like I think that same weekend, and then the Monday morning I tried to go to work, and I was like, oh, back spasms, that's fun. And like I literally I couldn't move voluntarily. My back was like, you're gonna go this way, and I was like, okay, okay, please, okay, don't do it no more, don't do it. You know what I mean? I felt like Richard Pryor when he's talking about his heart attack. Okay, I won't breathe no more. Okay, I won't say shit. Okay, but yeah, so like ever since then, I've had a little tweak back there. So I'll be going to the doctor next month. It's the joys of being in your 40s.
100%. You need more yoga in your life, sir.
Yeah, well, I don't even like yogurt, so.
Is he lactose intolerant?
No, I've been. Oh man, no, I'm sure I gotta stretch more, but I mean, it's just it's all the. I've said it before. It's very weird being a big, strong guy, except your joints hurt, right? Like I'm used to being able to pick up anything I want and just, okay, I'm holding this heavy thing now. Watch out, it's heavy. Like, are you sure? Because it doesn't feel heavy.
I'm pretty sure you can do all that stuff. It's just the repercussions of the next day.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And always the thing was always like, I was like, I'm not going to be able to chase you, but don't get close enough.
Wreck and grab you.
Right.
Because I'm not letting you go.
Don't get too close. Yeah,
Don't get close to the bear.
Yeah.
The cocaine bear.
No. No, sir. Not me. Wrong show.
Wrong. Rawr. What else is going on in your life, man?
Shit, man. I mean, we got softball, of course. Softball. Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago we went to go see the Adam Sandler. That was pretty dope. That was really dope. I think when we talked, it was on my way to go to that show.
Yep.
That was super dope. It was funny because like I think Kim was expecting to play more of the songs that we know, just from SNL and stuff. And I'm like, but you got to realize he's been doing this show forever, right? So he's been doing the live show. He's been doing Lunch Ladyland on TV on his live shows forever. And then at the end, like he had some goofy ass skits, but he was never really doing a full song. He'd do like a verse of a song and then like cut it off, and then everyone's laughing and shit, right? And Rob Schneider came out, and Rob Schneider. The thing that pissed me off is that the next day they went to. So the funny thing is, you went to that Bulls game the day before I went to Adam Sandler, both at the United Center, and then the very next night on that Monday they had another game, right? So like they swapped it over super quick. But the very next day that he performed was in Ohio, and fucking Chris Rock was there. Instead, I was like, Chris Rock over. I was like, I would have taken Chris Rock over fucking Schneider any day of the week.
Any day.
Schneider was okay. He opened for him, but yeah, I think Chris Rock was just the surprise guest versus like Rob Schneider was like their opener. Which
Chris Rock probably had something going on in that area.
Yeah, and the thing is that Chris Rock, he is part of that little clique because he was on SNL. They all know each other and shit like that. So, and then at the end he did his tribute to Chris Farley. Nice. Talking about my friend, and if you've ever watched his Netflix special that came out a couple years ago, his live show, that is essentially that same song where the clips of Lunch Ladyland and all that shit. So. Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really cool show. I really enjoyed it. It was funny because at the end, like I said, Kim was like this guy's making all this money, and one of his lines was poop a doop doop, and I was like, yeah, I mean, but also like there is production, he's writing, he's playing instruments, he had like 6 guitars on stage, and at one point he played each and every one because he's doing different songs, so no, it was a really cool show. And then just getting along, going through Valentine's Day, grabbed a bunch of cool stuff for the house for the girls, and just kind of trying to make that transition into the springtime because that weather's been really funny where we get that snow. I got to the point where I'm like, it snowed today, but it's gonna be 40 in 2 days. I'm not shoveling. No. I'm not shoveling that shit.
No. It snowed this week, and I'm like, my mom's like, do you want to shovel? I'm like,
no, do you?
It's gonna be 45 degrees tomorrow.
Right. It's all gone. It's all gone. Yeah, we found where my daughter left the snow shovel in the backyard because it was covered in snow, so that once it melted, it was there. Wow. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, we're getting ready. Next weekend will be my oldest 13th birthday, so yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be really cool for her. I can't
teenager now.
I can't wait to have just 2 ladies in my life that I love very much and have been around in my life for a very long time be on the same fucking cycle. That's gonna be super fun. And then sure enough, before I know it, there's gonna be 3 of them. So that'll be a lot of fun.
And the dog.
Yeah.
And the cat.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of did that to yourself.
Well, first of all, let me tell you something.
Dog.
First of all, you know, I wanted a boy at some point, right? So when my oldest was born, my dad actually would give me a hard time, and he goes, "Son, you forgot to put the stem on the apple." So I mean, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, we're just you know, enjoying life. Just you know, it's there's a lot of people right there out there that hate their job, hate their life, hate their situation. I can't complain.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm just always fucking busy.
Yeah.
Always busy.
Always playing with balls, pinballs,
Yeah.
softballs.
Yeah, my balls. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, look, you know, it's just what it is. And now here we are again with another episode. Speaking of getting older.
Yes, sir.
Great show we got for everyone today in this episode in honor of Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I don't care what Mike Logic says. The best basketball player of all time is just turned 60 on I think what was it Friday? One of them days.
Sure.
One of them days. That was his birthday. So we're going to talk about our top 6 Michael Jordan moments of all time. And we're also going to touch on a few other topics in our rundown. We got all that plus stirring the pot and what you looking at. But first, this is the Big 3 with Big-Z.
Thanks, E-Roc. I'm Big-Z, and you're not.
Nope.
Now for today's stories. Oh, without cut off real quick. This is not my roadcaster.
Yeah, okay. It was set up. You just kept going down.
I literally just cuts off. It's all right. All right. Story number 1.
Uh-oh.
I think you're going to like this one because it's going to hit close to home for you, huh? Suburban school workers stole 11,000 cases of chicken wings, equaling to $1.5 million of embezzlement scheme, according to court documents.
Is that all? Is that it?
Hey, chicken wings are fucking expensive.
They are now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember paying 10 cents a wing.
Yeah, and it's like 75 cents for half a wing.
Oh, yeah. You just get to lick it.
What if how much to look at it?
Yeah, there we go. Full circle there, Chris Rock. Cook County prosecutors have charged the former head of food services at the South Suburban School District of engaging in a massive embezzlement scheme in which she allegedly stole more than 11,000 cases. 11,000 cases
Jesus.
of chicken wings and $1.5 million of taxpayer funds over a 19-month period. So you got away with this for almost 2 years? How do you not know there's chicken wings missing?
Yeah, because from when I first read this story, from what I understand, essentially this happened all during COVID. So you had all these schools were still being able to provide meals for kids, and you know there's no real way to track how much food is going out and things like that at that point. So I mean, I think that's where it stemmed from. But
that's exactly what it is.
You know, here's the thing. I forgot what I was either reading or I was watching a TikTok. Probably TikTok, because why would I read? But essentially, it was something about like you get these kindness videos. The guy goes in, he's like, "Hey, you know, can I get something? Can I get something to eat?" And they're like, "Well, you know, yeah, sure." He's like, "But I left my wallet, or I don't have this." And they're like, "No, you know what? Take whatever you want." He was like, "I'll come back tomorrow, or you know, what can I do for you?" They're like, "Dude, you're hungry." Like I would never like deny someone food, right?
Right.
So, by the same token, how do we know that this food didn't go to people that just didn't have food? Like, is stealing food really stealing? You know what I mean? That's the kind of what it comes down to. Yes, of course it is. There's a value to it, but at the same time,
it's from the government, so the government don't fucking play.
Yeah, I mean, they steal enough from us, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, so you are right. It can happen from July 2020 to February of 2022.
There you go.
Yeah. So, they stole from Gordon Food Services, who were the provider of these chicken wings.
So back in the day, my grandmother was a lunch lady. She actually was a lunch lady at Juarez High School, where my coworker Pablo was actually in high school while she was a lunch lady there. So, and the weird thing about that, I'll tell you, is that so the day that I got hired at Stern, I got a phone call on my phone from Juarez High School. This is Benito Juarez High School. And I was like, I did not answer that call because I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And it just made me think of my grandmother. And I go and start the job, and I start talking to Pablo and find out that he went to Juarez. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So believe what you want, but there's some spooky shit going on out there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
especially in my office. There's always some spooky shit going on.
Oh, boy. Story number 2. Monterey was missing the Dennis the Menace statue.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, in Monterey, California, they had a Dennis the Menace statue, and it went missing for a while, and they found it in the lake.
That sounds very menacing. Sorry.
Wow, couldn't help himself. A statue of the comic book strip character was stolen from the park in Monterey, California last summer and was found submerged in a nearby lake. So they said, today is a happy day. Well, what's so happy about it?
My guess he was probably Mr. Wilson.
I put my money on Wilson. Was it Wilson from Tool Time? Or
No. No, it was Mr. Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Who played Mr. Wilson? I'm not Mr. Wilson. Who played the villain in that? That was the guy from...
I don't remember. I remember it. So like I was a
Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, okay. I was a big pull the comic section out of the paper.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was a kid, so I love Peanuts, Beetle Bailey,
Marmaduke.
Peanuts was always my favorite. Like I just loved. Like I had the books. I still got the books. Of course, Foxtrot was another one. Calvin and Hobbes was another one. Mm-hmm. And there's one called Zitz, which is funny. But I mean, one of my favorites was my two favorites. It was funny as a kid though. You don't get these jokes. Right. Was Blondie? I don't know if you remember Blondie. Blondie was a funny one. The husband's name was Dagwood. He was kind of a goofball, and it was just kind of set in like 1950s. But it was like real, like you could tell you can see the pen strokes and the way that they drew.
Okay.
And it was so consistent, right? It was amazing. Of course, Garfield, but the other one was the Lockhorns. Remember the Lockhorns?
No.
So Lockhorns were a married couple that really just hated each other, and they were always just talking shit. And it was always a one-panel comic strip, and most of the time it wasn't even in the regular comic section. It was like in a little different part of the newspaper. But yeah, I remember that one because it was again that very.
Which one was the circle one? It was like a
Family Circus.
Is that Family Circus?
Family Circus was funny because Family Circus was literally about a family, and they would always show, like especially on Sundays, they would show the whole map, and you would have like a little dotted line of where the kid went all around the neighborhood and like dropped off, like made a mess here and this and that, and then they're like, and then every time they would ask, like there was like 4 kids and like, oh, who did this? And he was like, not me. And then you see a little ghost of a person, and on their chest it said, not me, because not me did it, like, or I didn't, or, that little things like that. Oh yeah, man, I was so like I still have books, Beetle Bailey. I have all that shit out there, man. I love it.
Yeah, it is the Museum of Eddie here.
A lot of that stuff came from Mike One's grandmother's house when she passed away. She had all this shit, and it was his uncle's little collection in his uncle's like childhood bedroom in this house. And I snatched up. It was like these old 25-cent paper bags. I got a bunch of them. Yeah.
Wild. So Dennis the Menace has a, the reason that they have the statue.
Yeah, why is it there?
Because Hank Ketchum.
Yeah, that's
was a longtime resident of Monterey County and died there in 2001. Okay. The park's original statue was stolen in 2006 and hasn't been found until now. Yes, the replacement was stolen in August 2022 by someone who cut through the foot to remove it.
This is like The Simpsons when they cut off Jebediah Springfield's head off a whole bunch of times.
100%. Like, well, it's another day in Springfield. Story number 3. Police in Northwest Indiana. Oh boy, Indiana. You got to do better.
Phipps.
Yep. A woman is accused of pulling a man's penis in violent manner.
Hello. That's not the happy ending you were asking for.
Porter County, Indiana woman in Indiana was arrested Tuesday after allegedly pulling a man's penis in a violent manner.
Ouch.
Just before 7:15, police responded to the 700 block of Dearborn Road, located in Portage Township, on a battery report. Well, I thought batteries were not included. Upon arrival, police met with the caller, a 26-year-old Valparaiso man who stated that he was in a verbal argument with Zephany. Wow.
I'm sorry.
Zephany with a Z. Pennywell. Wow.
What?
She's 20 while in the kitchen. Man told the authorities Pennywell chased him, grabbed him by the shirt, and then grabbed his penis in a violent manner. Police report states that Pennywell allegedly would not let go and began to pull.
Dude, usually you have to pay extra for that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah, that's usually the clip I have. Yes. A roommate provided police video footage of the incident.
Oh, shit.
It's going to be on Pornhub.
Gonna be.
It's probably making millions right now.
It's probably where they got the footage from. Like, excuse me, that's evidence? Like, yeah, 20 million views of evidence.
Oh, my God. Pennywell charging the man and then grabbing his groin area for a short period of time. So was it short or was it long?
Hey.
She was later taken into custody at a bar at the 300 block of U.S. Route 6.
Wow. Was she still wearing her stilettos at the bar?
Oh, my God. While at the bar, Pennywood told police she warned the man to stop antagonizing her. She said that the next person who annoyed her would get the... it's censored out. I'm saying dicked. I'm pretty sure that's what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of saying is that? You're going to get dicked.
Maybe you're going to get fucked up.
I don't know. I don't live in Indiana. I don't speak their language. Pennywood has been charged with battery.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's battery not included. God, you know what's? It still reminds me of Lorena Bobbitt. Like, how do you not go to that story, right? Like, you know, and it was from. I remember. I remember because you got to remember this is like early '90s when Lorena Bobbitt cut off her husband's dick and threw it into a field.
Yeah.
And they found it and they reattached it. John Wayne Bobbitt, he even did a porno at some point. And I'm like, dude, there's no way you don't have like that Frankenstein like stitch line around your dick.
Right.
Like,
yeah, the X is all over.
But I remember all the like the parody songs and the stuff. I remember like instead of they were like a wiener chopper, like that was one right there.
Wow.
And there was another one. I can't remember the top of my head.
Weird Al make one?
I don't think so. I mean, somebody.
That's right up his alley.
Well, I mean, he made it Beat It, but that was kind of more for this young lady here, Pennywise. Pennywise the dick the dick anchor. I don't know. Crank anchors. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Oh, all right, guys. I'm Big Z, and that's news to me.
Ouch.
Yeah. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z and E-Roc.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
Hey, E, give us the rundown.
Woo! Watch your feet, baby. Oh, man, you almost ran me over there. This is the rundown. We got a few stories to run through with you real quick. Number one, the Bears have officially closed on the purchase of the Arlington Heights property. They announced in an open letter they released. Last fall, we released an open letter confirming the team had reached an agreement for the purpose of acquiring 326 acres of property in Arlington Heights to secure the potential of beginning a new and exciting chapter for the Bears, our fans, the Chicagoland community, and the state of Illinois. This week, we took another step towards realizing that vision by closing on the Arlington Park property. Final purchase does not guarantee the land will be developed, but is an important next step in our ongoing evaluation of the opportunity. There is still a tremendous amount of due diligence work to be done to determine if constructing an enclosed state-of-the-art stadium and multi-purpose entertainment district is feasible, but I'll tell you this, you don't close if it's not feasible.
It's going to be feasible. And people are like, well, I don't see the Bears moving.
Yeah, okay.
They ain't.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck, they ain't.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, too, is like, well, there's Chicago Bears, there's this, there's that. I'm like, look, Dallas plays in Arlington. Like, why can't we play in Arlington Park or Arlington Heights? Like, what's the problem?
New York plays in Jersey.
Right. So, you know, and the thing is that the Bears came out, they've been talking about it. I know that Mayor Lightfoot is very, you know, like, she kind of shot herself in the foot. Oh, worry about winning games. Well, okay, well, we're worrying about leaving your ass. Like, that's what it is.
And they can't replace the team there because The Bears have the trump card.
Correct.
There's no team that can come within 200 miles of the Bears. So they would have the final say of if they say, oh, we want an AFC team. Nope.
Right. Exactly.
You know what the Bears would do? Is like, you want an AFC team? We have this brand new badass park here. You can have the other 8 games.
You split it.
Here.
You split it the same way that
Los Angeles does with SoFi.
Yep.
And then
the Rams and the Chargers, and you got the same thing with
New York.
So the difference is in SoFi, that's the Rams stadium. They let the Chargers play there.
Correct.
That's the difference. But in Jersey, the Jets and Giants, I think they're split. So like the Meadowlands. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what it is. The Bears did come out and say they will work closely alongside the village of Arlington Heights, surrounding municipalities and the residents to solicit extensive feedback on how we can best benefit local communities and Bears fans across Illinois. This planning will include a robust diversity, equity, and inclusion program that prioritizes local hiring throughout every stage of the development. I want to remind you that the brand new president of the Chicago Bears was an integral person in building the new stadium in Minnesota for the Vikings.
The one that killed a lot of birds.
That's right. Usually, yeah. Just the same way the Eagles got killed. Oh! Wow! They also came out and made another statement in this very long letter that I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they said, here's a couple things. Should we proceed, the development of the Arlington Heights property would be one of the largest mega projects in Midwest history. Possible construction of a stadium-anchored development is projected by analysts to create more than 48,000 jobs, generate $9.4 billion in economic impact for the Chicagoland economy, and provide $3.9 billion in new labor income workers across the region. The completed project would create more than 9,750 long-term jobs, generate $1.4 billion in annual economic impact for Chicago, and provide $601 million in annual labor income to workers across Chicagoland.
Money, money, money.
And speaking of money, one last thing. We have publicly stated and repeat here again, if we construct a state-of-the-art stadium, we will not seek taxpayer funds locally or otherwise for the structure. If we proceed, however, the project would require assistance to ensure feasibility, including securing property tax certainty and support for blah, blah, other bullshit, right? So, look, they have to do their job. They're doing their due diligence to make sure that it's feasible. First of all, it's feasible.
It's feasible.
It's feasible. Like, you're talking about the charter franchise of the NFL.
326 acres. You couldn't find a spot for a damn stadium.
You got the stadium, you got your hotel, you got your sports book, you got your shopping, you got your there's
a concert venue right there.
You can still have your stadium that you use for the big events and still have an outdoor venue that you can do for outdoor events, just like Ravinia does. There's so much possibilities.
It's gonna screw over the United Center, the Soldier Field, All-State Arena. It's going to take away from those venues.
I don't know if that's true. And I'm going to tell you why. So from my understanding is that United Center has a clause where, like, you can, the reason why WWE goes to All-State instead of United Center is because for any one entity or project to be able to perform at United Center, you can only do it something like upwards of like 4 or 5 times in your lifetime. You cannot, once you reach that max, you can't do it anymore. So if WWE were unless it's like WrestleMania or something like that, they're not going to use United Center because you're not going to tell me you can't fill that place. No, but what I'm saying is that, like, you can through the lifetime ever.
They've only been there once,
right? And that's what I'm saying is that's why they don't go back there, because because you have your contract. It's a multi-use building right now because you have 2 different sports going on in there. Right. But then because it's centralized in Chicago, it's close to downtown. It's easy to get to from different states. Because when we went to Adam Sandler, there was people from all over the place there. But because of that, your accessibility makes it so that there's a high demand on the place, and in order to ensure that it just doesn't get flooded with requests, or like you got entities fighting over the possibility to be able to perform there, you have a certain few number that you're limited to throughout the lifetime of your band or your show or whatever it is. That's why they don't do that. Right.
Well, fuck you, United Center. I live 8 blocks down. What the fuck? Instead of driving all the way to fucking All-State Arena to watch wrestling.
But that's I don't know how long that's been around, but that's part of their thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan Taves Jonathan Toews, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about him possibly leaving the Blackhawks, but he's out indefinitely with an injury.
Yeah, the Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews provided an update with his health before Sunday's game in a statement through the team, revealing that his recent absence is because he's still dealing with symptoms of long COVID and his chronic immune response syndrome. So obviously, we've talked about this ad nauseum, that why he was out for such a long time.
Right.
It took a while to get there. But in a statement, he said, first of all, thank you to all the fans who have shown concern about my absence. I'm still dealing with symptoms of long COVID and chronic immune system. It's been really challenging to play through these symptoms. In the last few weeks, it's reached a point where I had no choice but to step back and concentrate on getting healthy. I am thankful for the patience and support of my teammates, coaching staff, and the entire Blackhawks organization. This is a huge blow to the Blackhawks because they're on the brink of making these trades to make their team better for the future and moving on from the championship years. Toews and Kane are two Hall of Famers that, you know, they're going to be Hall of Famers. Let's just be honest with you. So they're looking to get some type of haul for the next draft and the next draft of that and so forth. So this takes a blow. It looks like Toews will be here. And look for Kane to be traded, though.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is like you're talking about a 34-year-old, and he hasn't played since January 28th, right? So like he's been on the shelf for quite some time at this point. And he didn't play the whole 2020 and 2021 season, you know, that season there. He didn't play at all because he had that chronic immune response syndrome. And, you know, he also came out and he said it's been really challenging to play through these symptoms. In the last few weeks, it has reached a point where I had no choice but to step back and concentrate on getting healthy. So what that, to me, when I look at that, it yes, because he has other stuff going on. It's not just a physical injury, right? But this also makes you realize or reminds you of how tough it is to play NHL and to do it night in, night out. The amount of work that goes through your body, because we're talking about a 34-year-old, and you look at a guy like LeBron who's 38 right now, and he's still doing, like, you know, I mean, like, he's not like, oh, I can jump over the hoop LeBron, but I mean, he's still pretty damn good. And, you know, him just getting the scoring record from Kareem, you know, so I mean, like, he's still doing things.
Didn't Kareem block that?
Hey. But I mean, you even see like a guy like Hosu, who went through what he did with the skin issues that he had towards the end of his career, you know, when he had to kind of step back. But I mean, like, it's crazy. You're seeing all the things that, how much this hampers this Blackhawks organization. And to me, it's kind of just like, well, you know, look, this is, I mean, it sucks for Toews, don't get me wrong. Like, but to me, it's almost karma on the organization. Like, your most valuable asset. I mean, Kaner is still very good. I think Kaner just moved up the list on all-time points. Also,
third in U.S. born players,
but which is impressive because I mean, but I mean, the fact of the matter is that, again, it sucks that it's happening to Toews, but it's so, to me, it's like karma because I was at Lids yesterday and I saw a really dope Blackhawks hat that had like a little patch on the side. It's like Spirit of Chicago, and I almost bought it. I'm like, yeah, but I still can't fuck with Blackhawks right now. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth after all the shit that we just found out the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's really hard to be a Blackhawks fan right now. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, Toews it's always been my favorite. I know Kane is the better player overall, but Toews has always been my dude.
Toews is a better player. Kane is a better scorer.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I meant. So yeah, but Toews has always been my dude, captain, and I wish him to get well very soon. I know he's probably gonna end up retiring.
You know, if I were him, I'd probably go down that route, right? Like, that's kind of where you are in your career. I mean, and look, your last championship, regardless of the fact that you had 3 championships in the span of 5 years, it was 8 years ago. That was 2015. Was 8 years ago. Whether you want to believe that or not.
Take me back, son. Take me back. Take me back to good times when we had championships in the city.
Speaking of missing championships, the Chicago Bulls completely suck donkey balls. They have lost, I think, the last 6 going into the All-Star break. DeMar DeRozan has hip issues, and Billy Donovan just sits there and, well, you know, they did good things, like go up by 20 and lose by fucking 5. Like, how do you do that? How do you consistently? And if one thing about the Chicago Bulls is they are absolutely consistent because they find a way to like
lose games.
They finding a way to lose games. It's one thing like when you're at the end and you're trying to squeak it out. And it just doesn't work out. Look at the Super Bowl, right? Like, it's just like, hey, Kansas City took advantage of that flag, which was a flag, ladies and gentlemen. It was definitely.
And they missed
I don't
the
care
field goal
what
earlier.
I don't care what your bet was. It was a legitimate flag. But you look at the fact that right now they just cannot get out of their own way. The chemistry is just really weird, and now they're talking about bringing in Russell Westbrook, which somehow
Let's do it.
Are you fucking serious?
We already got the circus in town. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not?
That's like that's taking a huge dump on a full porta potty right there.
Let's do it.
Like, we got a big pile of shit. Let's throw some more shit on top of it.
Let's do it.
It's just gonna stink more.
Let's do it.
Like, it's ridiculous. What you told me something about they're closer to like the first overall pick in the playoffs right now.
Yeah. If they keep losing out, they'll have a 30% chance of getting the number 1 pick, and they don't have a 30% chance of actually beating a playoff team. They can't even. They're not even in a playoff game yet.
No,
they have to get
the play-in game.
They're playing. It's a number 10 seed. They're not even there yet. So they have a higher chance of fucking getting a number 1 draft pick with the record with the way they're going. That tells you right now that this team is just fucking dismantle this fucking team.
Well, and that's what Charles Barkley's been talking about for weeks now.
Yes.
Or months, actually. He's like, you should have blew this up like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, whatever. Like, now you're past the trade deadline.
Yes.
And Vucci might be done, but at the same time, like, they're talking about bringing him back and building around him. I mean, you're talking about like what, a 32-year-old guy. Zach LaVine, the lowest IQ in the NBA history. I mean, this guy is just like basketball dumb. DeMar DeRozan is sitting there, wasted his resurgence, his autumnal comeback year last year. And we're seeing guys like Io just not, like, we saw a lot of promise last year. He hasn't developed past that point. Kobe White is sitting there, and Kobe White hasn't really developed, like, but he's still, like, he does his thing, but he's not getting better. Like, he's being consistent.
When they leave, they'll be better. Larry Marketing.
Yeah, Larry Marketing,
all-star.
Yeah,
Larry,
all-star.
Put respect on his kid's name.
Playing very well in the 3-point contest. Shooting lights out. So I mean, look, this is, I don't even have an answer for this franchise, right? Because and that was one of the things we talked about is as we were doing our Jordan show this week about his 60th birthday. I mean, the shadow that he cast not only over the Chicago Bulls, the entire city of Chicago landscape as a sports landscape, the entire NBA and the entire sports landscape, because he was the only one of any sport where you're sitting there. I mean, like, Tom Brady just retired, so you can, and a lot of people consider him the GOAT because of his longevity and the amount of championships he won, and because he was able to do it afterwards in his 40s without Belichick, right?
Different team, different coach, yeah.
And Jordan didn't have to do that. Jordan was consistent, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. That's all we always hear. And then all the MVPs and the defensive player of the year and all this shit, all of his accolades, and the fact that he came out in a time where, like, there was no huge superstar at the time. He hit at the right point where he went global, and David Stern made that global market and all that shit. The cast that he shadows over this team and like I said, sports in general, it's we're trying to dig out of it, but most of the time as Bulls fans, that's all we have to grasp onto, because we just don't know that and Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is closest to it until he blew out his knee in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then the series before that, when they took a couple games from LeBron, and then LeBron was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm guarding you, and I'm gonna shut you down. This ain't happening." So I mean, again, I agree with you. This is Derrick Rose era was the closest that we were going to get. Jordan's shadow still looms.
Yeah, over all the sports. I don't care what you say, because he is the only, like, if you ask people in China today about a 6-year-old Michael Jordan, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, his shoes are still out there, new colorways, all this shit. Yep. But if you ask someone in China who's Michael Jordan, they're going to know exactly who it is immediately, right?
LeBron's kids know.
Mike Logic shots.
Bang, 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 bang. If you're scared, go buy a dog.
That's right.
But I mean, you ask someone in China, who's Tom Brady? They're like, that sounds like a generic white name. I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, so I mean, like, that's the thing, is that you're never going to get out of Jordan's shadow. I don't care. You know what I mean? Until you make a serious run in the championship. Well, and even then, you have to win one.
No, you have to win one.
Yeah.
You have to win one. The only way that Jordan's statue is still not just, a main point of focus when you go to the United Center is if you win one, and you win one convincingly, and not a pop-up. Not a 2005, 2016 championship,
yep.
a pop-up. You have to do it year after year like the Blackhawks did.
Yeah, and with that consistency, and that's the thing is that your Sox with your 05 championship pop-up. Now, the Cubs, the championship was a pop-up, but they were going to the playoffs for a couple years before that, and then a couple years after that. So that was just, they're like, oh, it's a dynasty. It's not, whatever you call that, whatever you want. That was the championship era of the Chicago Cubs. Right. But you never seen any of these other teams, and we talked about it before. Are there any superstars in Chicago sports right now? Name one relevant superstar, quote unquote. There's not one.
Well, the Sky lost their superstars.
Oh, they lost everybody. The whole team was like, all right, fuck this, I'm out. They got him. They wanted a field trip to anywhere else.
Besides the Blackhawks.
Okay, but are Taves and Kane superstars? They're not superstars anymore.
Kane is still a superstar.
He is not a superstar.
You don't think so?
No, because if you look at, if you pull the top 10 players in the NHL, Kane is not on there.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like if Walter Payton won in 1982 and then 1992. Well, is he still a superstar? He's known, but that doesn't make him a superstar, right? That's the difference.
Okay, so go down the line. So we're saying Bulls, no superstars.
No.
Blackhawks, no superstars.
No.
Skies, empty barren.
Yeah.
White Sox, no. Cubs,
no. Not right now. I mean, people know who Dansby Swanson is, but again, baseball is always such a localized sport.
Right. He's not Mike Trout.
But even then, people don't know who the fuck Mike Trout is unless you like baseball.
Yeah.
He's not a Yankee. He doesn't play for Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge plays for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Unless you play for the Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, or Red Sox, you're not really you could be the best.
You're not transcending just the sport.
Exactly. I don't care how many commercials you do.
Yeah. All right, so then we have none.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no superstars in the city of Chicago right now.
Damn.
Let me tell you something.
Time.
It's a weird time. Well, I mean, we've gone through these dry spells. I mean, it's not like Philly where we're losing 3 championships in the span of 90 days, right? The World Series, the MLS Cup, and the fucking Super Bowl in 99 days? That's again consistency, guys. Speaking of,
and they loop their poles.
Oh, wow. Speaking of championships, Matt Nagy is a Super Bowl champion as the quarterbacks coach, the quarterbacks coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
You wrote chefs.
Yeah, because I saw that's how they wrote it on the field. Isn't that how they did it? It's the chefs.
The chefs.
Yeah, we can edit ours a lot quicker than the guy that was painting the field. But yeah, so Matt Nagy is the champion. Once he left here, he went right back to the Chiefs where he came from.
Old girlfriend.
Yeah, that's true. And guess what? She treated him right. She put a ring on it, and he did his thing. He's out there dancing and shit, doing his
club dub.
His club dub white guy dance, and trying not to fall off the stage. And I think someone saved his life. But yeah, so now.
Yeah.
Not only is the championship, but it sounds like he's going to get another chance to be the Chiefs' offensive coordinator.
Come on, he's not going to be the offensive.
I'm telling you,
it's still going to be Andy Reid. It's still going to be Andy Reid.
So he's going to be the OC in title, right? Which is fine. But at the same time, you're looking at him, and you're looking at Eric Bieniemy, who finally is getting a shot out of KC.
Finally,
for some reason, he cannot get a head coaching gig. You got both the coordinators in Philly for the Eagles going to different teams, right? You got, I think, the Colts and I forget the other team that snatched up the other guy for their head coaching. The Birds, Cardinals. So you got the Cardinals, the other Birds. You got the Cardinals and you got the
Cardinals, Falcons, fucking Eagles. What else?
No, the Cardinals and the Colts taking away their coordinators, and then you get Andy Reid losing Eric Bieniemy over, and he's going over to take over the OC spot at Washington. Yeah, so and I don't understand why he can't get a head coaching gig. I will tell you that the staff that they're building in Denver with Sean Payton going over there is going to be very interesting because now they're talking about Rex Ryan going over there to be their coordinators. He's not. I mean, look. As long as you keep
1995, yes.
As long as you keep your shoes on, he'll be fine.
He'd be loving that toe jam.
He does. Yeah, he's like, "What's up, girl? My name's Errol. Show me that toe jam."
What a reference. If you don't know, look it up.
Yeah, there's be like 4 people that get that shit. But yeah, so I mean, look, good for Matt Nagy. He look. We talked a lot of shit about Nagy on the phone on this show, especially with Will, who fucking
destroys him.
He said Matt Nagy should have been hired fired 2 years before he got hired. Like that's how they should have. But I mean, at very least, Matt Nagy did not give up on what he believed in. So neither did Ryan Pace, right? He stuck to his guns, and so you could say that at the very least you were consistent, right? I mean, he wasn't a good head coach, but I think he's good at offensive scheming. I think
he doesn't make any adjustments, as we've seen with the Bears. He had a good opening play, a good opening series, and then after that, I was like, well.
But that sounds like the entirety of the Bears season this year too.
Well, the Bears had different kind of talent.
Although, because the Bears would come out and do well in that first drive and then kind of fade off, and then you saw them halfway through the third kind of wake up again and then try to catch everything.
Yeah, but by the fourth quarter, you've seen the disparity in talent.
In the talent level. That's where the change came in. So, look, good for him. Again, offensive coordinator name. We know Andy Reid is going to be the guy. Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Speaking of Andy Reid, so leading up to the Super Bowl, a lot of people did ask him if he was going to retire if he won again, right? And it was a common question. Look, you're 65 years old. You've been in the league forever. You've proven that you are one of the best head coaches in NFL history. You're not Belichick, but I mean, you also didn't have Tom Brady, right? You went to 4 straight NFC championships with McNabb and the Eagles. You made it to the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for T.O. being fucked up, you probably would have won, right? And then you go to Kansas City. You there for a while to get Pat Mahomes, and 6 straight. He's been to the playoffs every single year that he's been there, right? He got the MVP again, and for the first time in forever, the MVP of the league won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts loses in the national championship game, gets benched in the national championship game, loses and comes in seconds for the MVP against Mahomes, and then loses in the Super Bowl. That's got to be salty as shit, all the way down the line.
I mean, that kid's gonna have a chip on his shoulder.
He's a fantastic bridesmaid. I got to tell you that he got a whole closet full of different dresses.
27 dresses.
Yeah, but I mean, so you look there. So essentially, you had Terry Bradshaw, old ass, come up on the stage, and he asked him. He goes, "Come here, big boy, waddle your way over here." Right? He did say that on live TV on the Super Bowl, telling to the head coach of the Super Bowl winning team, waddle yourself up here, right? So he comes up there and he's like, all right, you're getting older, this and that, and is this going to be it for you? And of course, Andy Reid being the only thing Andy Reid has ever done wrong is draw mustaches on his players, the one that's sleeping, right? So, but I mean, he was like, no, he wanted to kind of focus on the celebration of what's going on right here, right? Yep. And everyone just tore into Terry Bradshaw, this and that. And he was like, and to me, he was like, look, obviously they're fucking friends, right?
They would dress him like that,
Right. And then he's like, look at me. Terry Bradshaw always talks about being old and fat, right? And, he just giving him a hard time. It's his buddy. But he wasn't the only one that asked Andy Reid if he was going to retire.
It's a common thing. Are you going to leave on top?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, but
legit question.
But people, I mean, the internet went crazy on Terry Bradshaw. They're like, you need to retire. You need to retire. And I'm like, this is 2 boys talking to each other. You know what I mean? That's how I interpreted it. But again, you're in a public platform. People can just say whatever they want and understand and interpret things however they want. So it's whatever. But what did you think about that whole thing?
I don't see him retiring anytime soon.
No.
I think he's going to go out on his own accord. I mean, you got fucking, Pete Carroll's fucking 99 years old.
He is 99 and a half.
Yeah. But he lives in fucking Seattle, so that cuts gives you 20 years of life expectancy. Fucking
he also has the strongest jaw muscles of any human on the planet with those fucking
bubble yum chewing motherfucker over there.
Chomping. I mean, could you imagine standing and just say, hey, Russ, hey. I'm like, oh God!
I mean,
the worst ASMR of all time.
Gum during the game. He doesn't chew gum outside of.
No, because when he's outside of the game, he's sucking down children's souls, so he can stay alive for one more week. Okay.
This show is sponsored by True Blood. Look for the new season of True Blood on HBO.
So you know what's funny? TNT got the rights to show True Blood now.
I was watching it last night.
Yeah,
I was at the bar and I was like, why are we watching True Blood on TNT? Literally fucking porn.
Yeah. He's like, boo, it's me, Bill Compton.
Yes.
I'm pale and creepy. It's like
And old.
even though I'm 50 and you're 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone looks super young, and I'm like, holy crap.
So I want to touch on another controversial topic real quick before I get to my last part here.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods apparently walks around with tampons in his pocket. And after he made a shot in his, I don't even remember who it was because golf is the most boring shit of all time.
It's fun to play. Not to
Sure.
watch.
Well, it's fun to play, but also like anything's fun to play when you're drinking. Like,
Well, that's what I mean.
yeah, but I'm not watching. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I get that. Like you go bowling because there's drinking.
Yeah, I went bowling once. You go
No. You went bowling with your company.
Yeah, but that was like they were getting ready to tear down that bowling alley. That's why we went in the town where we work.
And they're drinking.
Yeah, I mean there was only I only had 3 or 4 pitchers by myself. But yeah, so Tiger Woods made a shot in his own tournament after all the shit that he's been through, and he passed along a tampon to his fellow player who he made I'm sure he had a bet or he's talking shit, and you just kind of like slipped it to him. And a lot of people lost their minds, talking about feminism and how can you making a joke about him needing a tampon because he's a woman and this and that. And I'm like, he's not. That's the problem. Is like I don't disagree with watching what you say or like being courteous and being respectful of different people, whether they're man or woman or their culture or their race or whatever it is, but I mean, this was clearly like an inside joke between him and his buddy. It wasn't meant to be seen. He literally, they had to zoom in on his hand, right? So I mean, like shit like this was probably going on forever, but the problem is that everyone has a high speed, like high definition camera in their pocket at all times, and you zoom in quick enough.
I'm looking at the picture, and it looks innocent as hell. It looks like they're holding hands.
Almost, yeah.
Right. And he's and then the other golfer's name is Justin Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
sure.
Yeah, like whatever, just fucking general
Billy
white
Smith,
guy name.
same,
Yeah,
same
exactly.
guy.
Yeah, and Tiger's got his eyes kind of half shut because he's probably high as hell, and
All those painkillers.
Yeah,
Falling in that ditch. Rolling. Okay.
So it looks like they're holding hands. You don't even see the tampon.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's an inside fucking joke at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably like stop playing like a pussy.
And I get. Look, that's the thing.
Probably what it is.
Is that? And here's the thing.
Two friends just talking shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're like, well, it's degrading to women. Look, I understand what you're saying. I understand the sentiment, but at the same time, he wasn't saying anything directly to a woman. He wasn't hitting her. He wasn't putting her down. He was basically telling his buddy, it's like, maybe you're on your period. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes we're getting to the point where stuff is getting really blown really out of proportion.
For no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, during the summer, one of I think is it Steven's team, the Pirates, the Butt Pirates or something.
The Butt Pirates, yeah, yeah.
And they have a plunger. Right. They have a plunger with a flag, and it has the pirate flag on it. And I think that's hilarious. But how much offensive could it be if it was just a fucking dildo that it would just slap on and stick on there? Like, hey, you're playing like a dick.
Yeah.
Short and to the left. I don't know. Fix it.
Short, shuffle, and always to the left.
Yeah. Liar. Oh, the movie reference in this one. Yeah, I don't think with the big controversy, it's just two fucking people having a fucking good time.
Yeah, I mean, again, he
didn't slap a fucking he didn't slap a tampon on a guy's back or nothing.
Yeah,
like that.
He didn't dip it in Kool-Aid and throw it at him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It felt like a push. It felt like a lot. Like I was like,
Like, shut the fuck up, buddy. Tiger's fucking playing. The motherfucker should fucking bionic man.
That's right. I'm on my way, baby. I'm on my way. When I get another hit, maybe I'll start playing golf. A couple more things. So we are right smack in the middle of the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities. Dame finally.
Love that kid.
Dame went ahead and won the 3-point contest, beating out guys like Lauri Markkanen and other shooters. There was a couple of guys in there just embarrassed themselves. I think Buddy Hield was in it. He's like one of the best shooters in the NBA this year. So,
Indiana kid, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like two Pacers in it, which Reggie Miller said it's going to be Pacer versus Pacer, and I said, "Shut the fuck up, Reggie. No one likes you, Reggie." You know what they could call weed after you, Reggie? Anyway, so yeah, Dame went out there. He won the title, so good for him. I think he won like the skills competition way back when. So it was almost like Zach when he was trying to win the dunk contest and the 3-point contest, which he failed miserably at. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Dame for winning that. And then they went on and did the dunk contest, and former Bull all-star, barely known Bull, Matt McClung wins the dunk contest. 4 dunks, 3 of them got perfect scores.
Dude, that dunk where he dunked over 2 people and then tapped the fucking backboard and then dunked it, that was phenomenal.
6'2" white dude. 6'2" white dude.
Who said white man can't jump?
I think it was Wesley Snipes.
There you go.
That's who it was. They're making another one with.
It's a show on Hulu.
I think it's a remake of the movie. It's gonna be, and it has who's the rapper?
Jack Harrow.
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Some white boy.
So Matt McClung, first G League player to win the slam dunk contest.
Love that.
3 of 4 dunks were perfect scores of 50. He's only played 2 NBA games in his career, one with the Bulls and one with the Lakers, and he actually signed his HBD contract with the 76ers on February 14th. So good for the kid. Wow. He's actually in the NBA, but he's coming up to the NBA, right? They were getting ready for the break when they signed him that contract.
That 360 dunk was awesome too.
Yeah. Well, now
he was hanging up there.
Now, the funniest comment I seen out of all of this, and he seems very humble. He seems like he does seem like he hangs out with some brothers, because you hear when he's like, "Yeah, I just appreciate y'all," and I'm like, "You do?" But I will say the most controversial thing that I heard is like, how are they going to let a white boy win a dunk contest during Black History Month?
Ouch! Oh, Barry won it. John Barry.
Oh, did he? No.
Yes.
But is this?
Brent Barry. Brent Barry.
Right. I was gonna say, does that count though? Because isn't that one where like all the players were white? Like you could only have one black player.
No. We're talking about the Barry that. Who did he play for? The Clippers.
Did he? Nah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't
Clippers.
care. I don't care. I don't care that much, to be honest with you. I just thought it was a funny comment. On to the final segment of the rundown. We reach our obituaries. We had a couple of pretty significant deaths this last week. Raquel Welch passed away at the age of 82.
Sexy.
One of the most
sexy.
One of those old school sirens. If you ever seen a Shawshank, you know her very well. Fuzzy britches up there on the wall when the warden throws the rock through the hole. She rose to fame in her back-to-back roles in Fantastic Voyage and 1 Million Years BC, both in 1966. It was the
She's
whole.
Always been referenced in anything as far as like who's the sexiest woman of all time,
right?
Raquel Welch. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She blew up in the 60s and 70s. She got a bunch of Golden Globes. I mean, even in their 80s, and I mean, she was just absolutely gorgeous woman. So, she was one of these. She was one of the first like post Marilyn Monroe sex symbols that you saw out there, right? But she actually had talent.
Yeah. No, she could actually act, right?
Exactly. Also passing away, a longtime MLB star and Hall of Fame broadcaster Tim McCarver passed away at the age of 81. Yes, he was the Ford Frick Award winner in 2012 for broadcasting. He was a MLB vet, 21 years, and Hall of Fame broadcaster. Like I said, he was collected 2 World Series rings with the Cardinals in 1964 and 67. He was a catcher for most of his career, and he played all the way from 1959 to 1980. But then he went on to broadcast for Fox forever.
He called just about every World Series. I mean, he was phenomenal. I loved him.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and he was one of these dudes that was like in the game so long, around the game so long, that he just knew all the nuances, right? Like once you play for that long, right? You're talking about what, a 21-year career, right? You see when it was every day you play baseball, you see something new. He didn't see new shit anymore.
No,
he already saw it all, right? So, yeah,
he saw Babe Ruth play.
He did. He was Babe Ruth's bench coach. Yeah. All right. One more. notification we got today, actually. Richard Belzer, the comedian and actor best known for playing acerbic detective John Munch across a number of NBC crime dramas, including Law and Order Special Victims Unit, over 20 years, has died at 78. He passed away peacefully this Sunday morning, local time, in his home in France. Ooh. And he apparently had a lot of health issues. So, yeah, I actually have a Richard Belzer book because, for those who don't know, he actually also did stand-up comedy back in the day.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was around for a long time, and he 20 years of doing the same role.
It's weird because you're putting up the pictures, and that first picture, not that one. I've seen him like that.
Yeah, the dark hair.
That one with the dark hair. I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah,
that's how I remember seeing him the first time. I remember seeing him, and then,
him and Jerry Orbach right there. Just like that was that was them in the show. The funny thing is when you think about that era of crime dramas and law dramas or whatever, you had LA Law, you had like Hill Street Blues, but you didn't have like the ones that came a little bit more NYPD Blue.
Yeah,
none of these guys were like
undercover
superstars, right? Like but they were just the longevity where you're like, not only do I know you, but my grandmother watches you on reruns on TNT.
Ice-T was supposed to be like
a cameo.
A cameo for 3 episodes, and he's done it for 20 years now.
Right. And which is funny because so my favorite thing about Ice-T being on that show is John Mulaney does a bit about him where he's always like super like surprised about the things that they're talking about, right? So and just the phrases. I don't want to look that up. John Mulaney talking about Ice-T on fucking Law and Order. It's hilarious. Last but definitely not least, as you heard to start the show, Dove, Trugoy the Dove from De La Soul passed away last week at the age of 54. For those who don't know anything about De La was making their own shit. It was like Tribe. At the time when you had all these guys, especially West Coast hip hop, like gangster rap and shit like that, De La was middle class guys, and they're like, look, man, we're just making funky shit that we like, that's fun, that's like not heavy, right? And like you look at when they came out in 1989 with 3 Feet Highs and Rising, like I said, it was everything was aggressive and guns and shit like that. And we're like, look, man, we're just like, we're telling you that we're dope, and like that's what every line is about. Like we're having fun, and like the fun, like how much you can't listen to
party.
Yes,
and play.
Yeah,
we're just gonna have fucking fun at a house party. Let's play his music.
You can't not enjoy De La and just like not have a good time. Like it's a party. Yeah. De La, like I said, Tribe, like you know what I mean, like Lords of Underground, like all of that right there. Leaders of the New School, like all of that shit back in the day, it just felt good. And it's crazy though, because we're getting to the point. I was thinking about this the other day. When we were young, rappers were dying from violence, from gunshots and shit like that. But in the past like 10 years, we lost a member of the Beastie Boys to cancer. Mm-hmm. We lost so like we tried.
It's okay. I'm the one with the bad memory, so I can't fucking talk shit.
So we lost Five Dog a couple of years ago. Remember, Georgie went to the whole celebration, and now we lose Trugoy the Dove from De La. I mean, like the fact of the matter is, like someone from the Beastie Boys, someone from Tribe, and someone from De La has now passed away, and not from illnesses, right? From getting older and just life happening.
And Mick Jagger's still out there.
Mick Jagger, these old man. What the fuck? Hey, you want to talk about sucking the souls out of fetuses and just to stay alive? Now stay alive. So yeah, that one was a gut punch, right? That was one of them ones where you just like, it was almost like when Kobe died. We were just like, God damn, like, are you for real?
Yeah, that Kobe thing, that one really did suck. I didn't believe it for a couple hours.
But it's crazy though. Just like as a hip hop fan, as a hip hop head, to like feel the wrath of disease coming down on your favorite rappers from back in the day. I mean, that's tough, man.
Yeah, it's like like I said, seeing Superman, and you're tugging on his cape, and like, oh my God, you're old.
Yeah. 54 ain't old though.
No, because we're right around the corner.
Don't remind. Oh no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the rundown. We'll be right back with some Jordan 60th birthday talk after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey, this is comedian Ken Garr, and I was just a guest on the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with
E-Roc.
Big Earl
E-Roc.
and G-Money and a bunch of weirdos. So tune in.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of Michael Jordan's 60th birthday,
6-0.
6-0, this old bastard, we are presenting our top 6 Michael Jordan moments in Bulls history.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. Got to see that's how I dream to be.
I dream I move, I dream I groove. Like Mike, if I could be like Mike. I wanna be like Mike. Like Mike, if I could be like Mike. Be like Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, LeBron, you ain't got no damn theme song.
You know, the only thing I hate about that song is that there's a movie called Like Mike with Little Bow Wow. And that was inspired. The name of it was inspired by that song.
Never saw it, never want to see it. Doesn't exist.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, he couldn't be like Mike.
No.
He couldn't be like Mike. Okay, coming in at number 6, I have The Shrug. Now, this has very significant importance to this show, but for the background of the situation, this is in the 92 Finals, Game 1, the Bulls against the Blazers. The whole thing was that he wasn't a very good three-point shooter, right? Like,
Nope.
he was, at best, a mediocre three-point shooter, making just 32.7% of his shots from there, and in the 91-92 season, he only made 27% of the shots of his three-point shots. But in that June, he stitched together perhaps the most memorable three-point shooting sequence of all time. His rat-a-tat firing of 6 three-pointers against the Trailblazers in the 92 Finals led to the Shrug, one of the best reactions in NBA history. Now,
So from my recollection, the shrug was meant to go towards Magic Johnson because he was on the call.
yeah, that was the whole thing. He looked over, and Jordan was not shy about like making sure that everyone knew how he felt about them.
Right.
After he had to overcome everything playing the Lakers and finally making it to the first finals in 91. The fact that he did the shrug and just looked at me was like, shit, I don't know how I did it either.
Yeah. That's exactly what felt like at bowling last week. I have no idea what's going on, but it's going. Yeah, I mean that's one of the most iconic things that Jordan did was the shrug, and like it's big as the ocean right now. That's how big the rim is. I'm just shooting, it's going in.
Right, and now here's the thing: is for those who have been following us for a long time, should know the significance of the shrug to our show. But for those who don't, the whole show started because his Last Dance came out, and his bodyguard with the little white afro did the shrug after he beat him in a game of quarters. And so the bodyguard's son reached out to us, and we did an interview with him. Your phone conversation,
John Marco Wozniak.
yeah, and that was the rest is history. So I mean, that is why it's important to not only the show, but that was why I picked it for our number 6 overall.
So I think our
Jordan
new
moment.
shirts should have the shrug on it.
That's a good idea. I like that. I do like that. All right, coming in at number 5, we have the shot
Over Elo.
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it! Set the Cleveland Cavaliers. Michael Jordan hits it at the foul line. 1 to 100.
Yeah, Michael Jordan hits the shot over Elo. That was, what is this? May 7th, 1989 wasn't a championship. Wasn't a champion yet. And the thing is that the Cleveland Cavaliers were actually good. They had Steve Kerr on that team.
Mark Price was on that team. Doherty was on that team, I believe. Yep. Who else was on that team that was fucking good? Ron Harper.
Yeah, Ron Harper was on that team before pre-Bulls. Ron Harper.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is that this was brought to light again, during The Last Dance. All these years later, it's thrilled to see Jordan take himself back there when he was speaking about the moment. Again, they weren't a championship yet, and each of his fist pumps in Cleveland were fueled by contempt for anyone who didn't believe he'd ever become a champion. This was only his second playoff series victory, but both him and Doug Collins, the former coach of the Bulls at the time, say it really propelled the team to greatness. Now, this along with the Byron Russell shot. This is that shot where you're like, oh, okay, this is that exclamation point to show, yes, I can do this. I can be that dude in the NBA.
If I remember correctly, they were down in that series, and they were written off.
Well, I mean,
they were the underdog for sure.
It sounds like they were written off, but they didn't write back. There you go.
The Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at that time, the Bulls won less games than the Cavs.
Yep.
Right? The Cavs swept them in the regular series.
Yep.
Right? And, Jordan said in The Last Dance, he goes, look, we we had nothing to lose. So they just went out, played balls out, and Jordan had been written off at the time several times in his career, several times in his basketball career, going back to his junior high days, and when he, his petty ass brought up his old was a junior varsity coach. Yep. When he went to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so
took it personal.
Yeah. So anyway, that is number 5. Coming in at number 4.
No, don't do it.
The flu game.
Oh, the flu game.
The flu game.
Yeah, the conspiracy around the flu game that they poisoned his pizza.
No matter how sick I was, how tired I was, I felt the obligation, my team, the city of Chicago, to go out, give that extra effort.
The big story here tonight, the story concerning Michael Jordan's physical conditions. This Jordan arriving about 2 hours ago. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms. And Jordan trying to slip it and then kick it back and hit. So Michael Jordan, despite visibly shaken by the flu symptoms.
Yeah, so that night they were in 1997 in Salt Lake City, where the
Slots are playing.
All-Star where the Slots. So yeah, the Bulls and Jazz were tied 2-2 in that 97 NBA Finals in Game 5. He was so sick and suffering from flu-like symptoms that at times he staggered. A dehydrated and exhausted Michael Jordan wills himself to 38 points against the Jazz in a pivotal Game 5, adding to his legend as a clutch performer and relentless competitor. Now, from what I remember, the story was they were really trying to get food. There was nobody around, and eventually they're like, okay, well, here's a pizza spot. And I guess the guy who they actually called to deliver it was a different person, and they were all kind of like standing around his room looking at him to see if he was going to eat it. And the conspiracy is that they poisoned his food, and he had food poisoning going into that game.
Yeah, 100%. And the most iconic thing that I remember is Pippen holding him up after he scored a basket and they call a timeout, and he's literally carrying Jordan to the bench because Jordan's like, I have nothing left.
So lacking energy, the Bulls' future Hall of Famer looked lost in the first quarter and then scored 17 in the second. He struggled in the third and then flickered on in the fourth to score 7 points during a 10-0 run that erased Utah's 77-69 lead. His three-pointer in the final half minute gave Chicago the lead. It did not lose, setting up the infamous video clip of Pippen carrying off Jordan.
Yeah, he scored 38 points that night.
Jordan came out and said, probably the most difficult thing I have ever done. I almost played myself into passing out just to win a basketball game. Not just any game, though, a finals game. Yeah. Said Phil Jackson came out and said this was a heroic effort, one to add to the collection of efforts that make up his legend. So this is just another one of those moments. This is why we're able to do these type of lists because he had that will, he had that wherewithal, he had that ability and that drive to overcome whatever obstacle was in his way to make sure that everyone knows I'm still the fucking man.
Yeah, it's not LeBron, with a hangnail, like, oh, I can't play, or, my lining's off. You had Jordan, who had the will, the intestinal fortitude to say, no matter what, I am going to go out there and carry my team. It didn't matter what the situation was, how I'm feeling. He understood the magnitude of the game being down 2 games. He's like, if we're down 3 games, we're not making it. We're not going to make it.
Right.
So him putting the whole team on his back, and again, the rest is history, and this is why the lore of Jordan still leans strong.
Absolutely. I mean, and look, LeBron never had no moment like that.
No.
Right?
No.
LeBron had the campaign about we're all witnesses, right? We're all witnesses to his greatness. And don't get me wrong, LeBron's a great player.
Yeah, witness his ass leave Cleveland, leave Miami, leave Cleveland again. He's gonna leave LA pretty soon.
But every stop he's made, every team that he's played for, he's gotten them a championship. Right? It's true. He got it. He had to go back to Cleveland. He did go to the finals early with Cleveland, but he had to go back to win the finals. He won the finals in Miami. He won the finals with the Lakers. Like he does have championship pedigree. And no matter what you want to say about LeBron, I believe he would have been a very good player in the 90s. He plays to what the game is right now, and that's pleading to the refs. Right? Jordan complained
a lot,
but he never flopped. I mean,
no.
He put it this way. It's not that he never flopped, right? He did do it. There's evidence of him like exaggerating a fall, but LeBron does it when there's like a drop of sweat on the floor. That's the difference.
When a guy waves his hands in front of LeBron is like, oh my god,
right?
Shots fired. There's a sniper in the roof.
Like if you fart 3 rooms over from where LeBron is, LeBron's like, my heart, I'm going down, guys.
The thing with LeBron is that he did go to the finals with the Cavs early in this year.
Yeah, with nobody, with Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, but he went to Miami to a team that was built.
Well, he built him and D Wade. They built that team together with Chris Bosh. I mean,
but D Wade was already there. You already had a superstar there that was still good.
Not true, because you remember when they signed, they were all free agents because they were part of the 03 draft class. They were all three. They were all three free agents. They had to agree to all sign there.
He was already in Miami. He wasn't going to leave. Dwayne Wade was not going to leave.
Hey, everyone else left. Chris Bosh was a budding superstar in Toronto.
Yeah,
LeBron was a superstar in Cleveland.
Oh, that whole banana boat thing.
Well, that's too. Yeah. Better than a banana hammock, I suppose. Coming in at number 3 in our all-time Michael Jordan moments.
Oh, boy.
I'm back.
He doesn't want to simply be effective or even be an all-star. He wants to be the best again. He wants to dominate. Can he? And if he can, are the Bulls a championship contender?
The atmosphere in Market Square was electric. We ran out onto the floor, and the air was thick with anticipation and anxiety. It felt like the finals.
Boy, oh boy, listen to the reaction here at Market Square Arena as Michael took the court.
It was an emotional moment. There he was back.
21 months after his last appearance in an NBA game, Michael Jordan has returned, and he's wearing number 45.
I didn't want to go to 23 because I knew my father wasn't there to watch me, and I felt it was a new beginning. And 45 was my first number when I played in high school.
Oh, man. Yeah. I remember the whole city littered with I'm back, the newspapers, the little leaflets. Yes, it's right there, right in front of you. It says, welcome back, Michael, from the Chicago Tribune.
So those who don't remember back in the day when we all used to buy and read newspapers, they used to have the little cardboard insert on the bottom for the advertising. Yes. And whenever the Bulls were in the playoffs, whenever they always had a little cardboard cutout, and people would steal them. That's probably how I got mine. But it's essentially the Bulls logo, Chicago Tribune or Sun-Times or whatever, and it just says, I'm back. And that was the simple words that Michael Jordan provided back to the NBA saying, I'm back. Now, this is after he retired, after his father passed away, after those first 3 championships. He missed all of the 94 season trying to play baseball, which he was terrible at. But it was good.
Double against the Cubs?
Okay, a double. I had a double stack when I went to the Cubs game last time, so it doesn't really mean much. But yeah, so this is after his first retirement. there's always still to this day a lot of speculation as to why he retired. Was it to him having gambling debts, and David Stern wanted to give him, like
suspend the best
yeah,
player in the world.
it's like, how about you're not technically suspended, but we have a handshake deal. There's conspiracy about his father being a victim of him owing debts. There's a lot of different stuff, but from what we heard from The Last Dance and just knowing Jordan's history, it really came down to his father always wanted to play baseball as well. Baseball was his father's first love, so he wanted to give it a shot after his dad passed away. He couldn't stay away very long because he came back with a whole new number in '95
with Jordan's shoes. I was like, come back, come back.
Pointing right to the sole of his shoe. Yeah. So so his agent David Falk sat there for days on end trying to figure out how do we construct a statement to say be eloquent and be Michael Jordan-esque. What's going to be fitting for Michael Jordan? And Jordan says, after all the things that David Falk presented to him, he's like, scratch that bullshit, and he wrote, I'm back.
Fax it.
Fax that shit. and the rest is history. He came back and he won 3 more titles, and it just in a very Jordan-esque way, it was just magical to watch him come back for his first full season and then win a championship, and then win all of the games, 72-10, and win a championship.
And when he came back, he almost beat the Orlando Magic.
Right. Was that's the Shaq and Penny Magic?
Dennis Scott, who stole the ball at the end.
Scott Skiles.
I mean, but the guy had not played for 2 years.
Right.
That's the only way you're gonna get it off of him.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, I think, I don't know about you, but I know that when I was a kid and thinking, like, I was almost shocked when Jordan missed a shot, right? Like, I always expect him to hit every single shot that he ever took. Yeah. So the fact that he comes back and he's not like this miracle worker that can, pull them through the dredges and make and get them to the finals for another win in '95, but then come back and do it for 3 more. It was just a really incredible time as Chicago sports fans, especially our age, between the ages of 11 and 18, watching this team just be amazing. Like, everyone in Chicago, that's all we wanted to do is play basketball.
I want to go to the other universe, because there's multiple universes, right?
Yeah.
I want to go to
the multiverse.
Multiverse. I want to go to the other universe where Jordan doesn't retire and the Bulls play the Rockets in those 2 series. And I want to know who to win, because Hakeem Olajuwon was a motherfucker.
Yep.
He was the best player at that time. And that team was constructed from 1 to 15 on amazing Sam Cassell and Robert Horry and him. And they had a great team. And had Clyde Drexler, who ended up joining them in the second championship that put him over. I mean, can you imagine the Bulls playing them in a 7-game series?
You want to know the funny thing about that is Drexler leaving Portland, and then going down there, and we're talking about the time when we always talked about, like, well, they never jumped ship and they never changed teams. I mean, like, they did, but it wasn't
at the end of their career.
At the end of the career, it wasn't always on their own volition, right? Like when Rodman came over to the Bulls, right? He had been
problem with San Antonio,
and that's when he was really dyeing his hair and all that shit, and I don't think people really thought that much about Dennis Rodman anymore at that point in his career. There, like, he's a throwaway.
Yes.
And the way that he had been acting up and the attitude and just all the weird shit that Rodman did.
And they said, we'll give you Will Perdue for him.
Yeah, thank God.
Now he does post game.
Yeah. Will Perdue is very good, but he is kind of terrifying. He reminds me of that fucking 20-foot skeleton that people put out on Halloween. And he just, like, you see, it takes him like 6 years to move one arm above his head. He's just so big, it's kind of terrifying.
Nightmare Before Christmas. What's the next moment, sir?
Number 2 of our top 6 Michael Jordan moments of all time. With Game 6 of the finals on the line, everyone in the Delta Center, Utah Jazz coaches and players included, knew the ball would end up in his hands. For the Chicago Bulls, too, it was another no-brainer. There was no play to call, no screens to set. It was simple. Get it to 23. That Michael Jordan is the go-to guy in the last seconds of any close Bulls game is the worst secret in basketball and still makes no difference. This is the shot over by Russell and the little push that I didn't see. I didn't see a push.
What push?
Did you see push?
I didn't see a push.
No, I saw an amazing shot. That's all I saw.
I saw everyone's mouth open.
Yeah. And here comes the ball.
43. Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan. Open. Chicago with the lead.
He gets Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips, and Michael pulls up and buries the shot to give him a 1-point lead.
That may have been. Who knows what will unfold in the next NBA.
Watch Jordan's left hand here as he gives Russell the push. Referee can't see that.
One of the greatest shots of all time. And again, this is a different era, right? There's no cell phones at this point, right? So everyone is actually watching the game, and you can see everyone's reaction. I wish I had the money, because I would want that in, like, I don't know, a poster size, humongous poster size color. Well, actually, I've seen it where the whole crowd is black and white, and the only thing in color is Jordan.
It's Jordan, yeah, with the red.
And the basketball going towards the hoop. And that is one of the most iconic shots of our era. I can say that. But everyone knew the ball was going to Jordan.
Yes.
And Byron Scott was chirping the entire fucking game, saying, "Oh, I can guard you, I can shut you down." Sir, he scored 35 on your ass.
Look,
and he averaged 35 for the finals.
You know, we weave LeBron in and out of this, right? And for good reason.
Yeah,
because
LeBron's one of the greats.
He is one of the greats. You know what I mean? You can. He's got to be in the top 5, regardless of how you feel about him. You look at his accolades,
all around player.
Yes. Now, again, I still think he would have been great in the 90s. He could.
I think he has the body structure for it.
Yes. And I think he has the basketball IQ.
Oh yeah.
The difference being is that, to me, like, LeBron never has the drive that Jordan did, right?
No.
Jordan refused to lose.
He doesn't have the Kobe Mamba mentality.
No. And where do you think Kobe got it from? Kobe emulated
Jordan. I mean, Kobe just ran the blueprint.
Yes.
That's all he did.
Kobe, however you thought about Kobe during his career, I was always like, at the tour when he was getting close to getting a 6th championship, I was kind of like, no, like, fuck Kobe, like, I don't like you, you know what I mean? But like, as you keep going, you realize and you appreciate his greatness, his Kobe did what all of us wanted to do. He was the only one I've ever seen actually be able to emulate Michael Jordan, right down to the way he talked, the way he moved, the way he interacted with the media. Everything. The biggest difference with Kobe is that Kobe actually would give young guys a chance and, you know, talk them up. Like Kobe on the sidelines after his playing career as a retired player, learning Luka Doncic's language so he could talk shit to him on the sidelines. Yes. And Luka's like, "Ooh, what the fuck?" And Kobe's over there like, "Yeah, that was me. That was me." You know, so I mean, that's the difference between Kobe and Mike. But overall, you know, you can't. There's not enough that you can say, considering the fact that his last shot. Now, granted, he did come back with the Wizards for that little bullshit Kwame Brown season. Time, whatever. But even then, he was the hardest, like, working player on the court, right?
Yes.
And you know that
averaging 20 when he was 40.
There you go. And it's kind of like Leo DiCaprio's dating. Ooh. Woo! It's like, what is it that to take your age, cut it in half, and that okay. But that. I don't really count those Wizards years.
No.
Because that right there, that's how you end a career.
With one shot.
And
you went going out on top. Yes.
Right. And then you leave Karl Malone out to the sidelines. Ooh, I'm so sad. Like, anyone see my cowboy hat? All of that.
Yes, sir.
All of that leads up to this, where it all began. 1991. NBA Finals. Bulls versus Lakers.
He's now 1 for 9. The look away to Livingston. Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. That's 13 consecutive field goals.
What a phenomenal series. This is, and I know this was kind of like the end of the Lakers because they were very old at this point. But you still had an all-star team 1 through 9 on the Lakers. The Bulls are an up-and-coming team, just getting over the hurdle of playing the Pistons, who had been in their way for the last couple of years. You also had the Celtics, who were putting up a fight, also aging. But there's still great stars on both of those teams. And Jordan finally gets over the hump. Finally gets some helps. He gets Horace Grant. Scottie Pippen's coming to his own at this point. You have shooters with Paxson. You have it was Hansen on this team. Who else is on this team? Cartwright was on this team.
Yeah.
You had a lot of players that were role players that fit the mold to the triangle offense.
Yeah, and this is
huge.
And this is before the European players were here. This is before Steve Kerr. This is before Luke Longley and Tony Kukoc and
Bison Daly.
Brian Williams, Bison Daly, and so that's Look, this was June 12th, 1991.
Oh boy,
the day that the Chicago Bulls dynasty officially began. They led the LA Lakers in NBA Finals 3-1. The Bulls got big performances out of Jordan and Pippen to wrap up the series in 5 games. Jordan dropped 30 points, 10 assists, and 4 boards, and Pippen posted up 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Pippen should have been the MVP of that series because he shut down Magic Johnson.
Yes, I don't disagree, but also, how do you not give it to Jordan? You have to give it to Jordan.
I understand that, but if it wasn't for Pippen shutting down Magic, that's a huge accomplishment to shut down a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah,
who was still pretty good at that point.
Oh, he was, yeah, and after all the stuff that he had been through, like, you know what I mean, going back and forth and playing with Kareem and all these great players and. You know, you look at this series was at Showtime, the Showtime Lakers, both versions of it. You know, the HBO version, the Winning Time version, and the real version that they'll talk about. But you know, him, Jordan, and the Bulls having to go through everything they went through with the Lakers, with the shitty Pistons, the way they just like dogged Jordan and just beat his ass, and you know what I mean, and like, and that's the dig, right? Like, what NBA player now could like deal with that and still play through it and find a way to play through it,
persevere through the struggle and the adversity,
and still score while someone's trying to chop your legs up underneath you and break your leg as you jump up and shit like that.
Right, and the thing is that people don't realize that he lost his enforcer. He lost Charles Oakley.
Yep.
And they ended up getting Bill Cartwright for him, and that was it. And Jordan was pissed about that.
Yeah,
because that was the older statements that said,
yes,
I got your back no matter what. No one's gonna fuck with Jordan. I got your back.
Oakley was a homie. Oakley was like that his whole career. Oakley was like that on the Knicks.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when he came back to the Bulls when he's all gray and shit. Like he just wanted to beat people's ass.
That's why we loved him.
That's why we loved him, right? But yeah, so this is the. That's the win, right? That's the 1991 most valuable player, right? Yeah. This is what kicked it off.
Yep.
This is the start of us. I will say that we were absolutely spoiled in the 90s, and I think because of that, to this day, we're still spoiled by that, where we're sitting here and where other teams do not get a run that way, and regardless of the sport, until you get Tom Brady. You don't get a streak of championships like that, and especially going 6-0 in 3. You don't see 2 3-peats like that, right? You know what I mean? And to this day, people will still argue that if he hadn't retired, that they would have 8 in a row. Now, to me, if he hadn't retired, they might make 5 or 6. Because you could tell he's winding down. He needed that 2 year. He needed to rediscover his love for the game of basketball.
And he changed his game.
He did, 100%.
He had to change his game because he couldn't take the pounding of playing in the paint anymore.
And you see the way he was shooting more.
Yeah, it was more of a mid-range game.
And the way that he was getting his teammates involved, and the way that he was allowing guys like Steve Kerr to take the final shot.
What ended up happening, he ended up trusting the damn offense.
Yes.
That's what happened. He started trusting the triangle offense because he understood that, okay, if I'm at the top, there's 2 guys that are going to be open. If you move the ball, you're going to have someone open. The triangle offense is made for a passing offense. And what ended up happening is Jordan would clog the ball up.
See, the Bulls, Jordan and the Bulls needed Phil Jackson the way the Cubs needed Madden.
Oh, okay.
Because you change the mindset. You take that pressure off. You're like, look, you need to find these moments within yourself outside of the game of basketball and then bring that to the game of basketball. How do you calm yourself down? Meditation,
He made
diet,
them read
exercise,
books,
yoga, all that shit. I mean, I got half the books in here. Thanks to Mike Logic for bringing them back.
2 years later,
still a quarter of the way read. But I mean, that's the thing is that there is an argument whether was Phil Jackson good or lucky. Why can't he be both? Because look, he was set up. What's his name? Doug Collins was there. Doug Collins was the one that really started the road and Doug Collins. Phil Jackson was Doug Collins' assistant coach.
Yeah. He was there to take over from since the beginning.
Right, and then you had Tex, and that was the end of the And once he implemented the triangle, and they're like, hey, we're gonna go with the hippie. And Phil Jackson came in and he brought in his yoga and his patchouli stink and his Birkenstocks, and he came in because don't people forget that Phil Jackson won a championship as a player with the Knicks back in the day.
That was the last one they won.
Jordan and the Bulls needed Phil Jackson just as much as he needed them because he had a key that he was trying to open up that door, and Jordan was able finally, due to Phil Jackson, whether you like it or not. Yes, he was lucky that he landed on that team and then he was able to coach, Kobe and Shaq. But you still needed him there. He was the one
with the personalities, those big heads,
right? Exactly.
Those cocky attitudes,
and he was the one that got Jordan to believe in the rest of his team.
Yes, like trust the players that we have out here with you. They're going to help you. They're going to do their job. And I can guarantee you, no one wants to let Jordan down.
That's huge. That's a great point. That is I love that point.
I like what Bill Wennington says. Jordan scored 55 points in the Garden, but I scored that one.
Yeah, he goes. We combined for 56 points. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, man. You got any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. It's you gotta throw in the slam dunk competition in Chicago.
The contest, yeah.
Of him, taking off from the free throw line
with the Marlboro sign in the back.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what that statue is from.
Yes,
that's from the dunk contest.
I mean, how fitting is that to win the slam dunk competition in your own stadium?
Right. And this is before the championships. This is when he was still trying to do it all himself.
Right.
All that stuff. So I mean, at the time, no one really knew who Michael Jordan was. They knew he was a good player.
They knew him as a dunker.
Yeah. They knew him as the guy that had all the potential and the ability in the world, but he just was never able to get over that hump. And that's what it was because, again, basketball is not an individual sport. I don't care how many ISOs you run.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. But, I mean, for me, that's one of the most iconic images of him floating through the free throw line with one hand out, and he's pumping it as he dunks it.
And so iconic, they put it on a bunch of shoes.
Huh. You don't say. Do you have any honorable mentions?
There was one that I had in my head. Speaking of which, my honorable mention is the moment that he signed with Nike.
Okay, and there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, there is a movie coming out.
Ben Affleck, producing him.
So they were actually talking about it on the during the All-Star festivities. I think there's quite a few people in it, but essentially it's the story of Michael Jordan and his signing with Nike, because I think he also had he had also been working with Adidas, and Adidas didn't want him.
Yeah, Adidas and Converse were in the
right, and Converse right there was those Chucks, because you had Larry Bird in Converse, you had Magic Johnson in Converse, and that was they all had their own colors. I mean, you watch any of those old games and they're wearing those little flat ass shoes. I got a pair. They ain't no ankle support, man. You look at a curb wrong, you're like, well, my leg's broken. That's how that works. But yeah, so that's my honorable mention moment. It's not on the court, it's off the court, and it is him signing with Nike and just turning the NBA world and turning the fashion world on its head, because you got to remember at that time, the reason why people our age in the 80s look so much older is because they were not wearing baseball caps and athletic gears and joggers and gym shoes, right? If you were going bald, you went bald, and you proudly sported that fucking horseshoe, right? you sported that horseshoe with a fro behind it, and you had your wool suits and your ties and your hard-soled shoes and all that shit. And us, now, even NBA coaches after COVID, they just wear whatever. They wore warm-ups and joggers and stuff. So, I mean, that changed the way. Now you see guys wearing suits with Jordans, wearing suits with Stan Smith Adidas. it changed not only the landscape of the NBA, the way that marketing is done, it changed the landscape of fashion in general, because you have, just like I said, people never saw that as a thing, like tennis shoes, athletic shoes. Oh, that's nothing, this and that. Jordan changed all that.
Another thing that Jordan changed, I know we're running out of time here for our segment, but another thing that Jordan changed was pop culture.
Yeah, 100%.
He started doing commercials for his shoes with Spike Lee. Then he ends up being in
it must be the shoes.
Right. Then you have the movie, Space Jam, which, LeBron tried to copy and failed. You can still watch the original Space Jam. You're like, this is a great movie. You got Bill Murray, you got him, you got a bunch of comedians in there. He transcended the sport.
Yes.
And that's why we love the man, because he transcended the sport in a time where the world wasn't as open as it is today. We got our news the next day from the newspaper, or watching 10 o'clock news and watching the 4-minute segment of the sports and try to catch a glimpse of Jordan doing something special at that point. There wasn't that much sports radio.
No.
ESPN celebrating 25 years. That's not that long ago.
Right. Yeah, ESPN radio in Chicago, yeah.
So there wasn't that.
You had like the sports line that you had to call into.
Exactly. So it's a huge difference that for a man to transcend the sport, to transcend the pop culture references at that point.
George Michael's Sports Machine.
Oh,
you like that one?
I still
now to the tape, and he got the he's in that big green screen and he hits the thing. Yeah,
I mean, he changed so much of our culture and how we grew up.
The way we absorb sports.
I mean, we did everything growing up. We try to emulate everything he did.
With our East Bay catalog.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah, this just finally, I think, Finish Line or whoever is taking.
Yeah, rest in peace. So
sad.
What else? You got anything else before we get out of here?
No, man. I mean, look, I think we owe this show to Jordan.
100%.
Right. Like,
how serendipity is that?
And the funny thing is that because Jordan is the reason we became, we are in the era and of the age where, yes, it was cool that the Bears won, but we weren't young enough to appreciate it the way we did when we were, 11 years old, 9 or 10 or 11 years old when Jordan wins his first championship, right? And then we watched that.
Call the game.
Yes. And then all of a sudden we're interested in, we know who Ahmad Rashad is, and we know who, Hang Time and we're watching Learning to Fly, and we're watching, his Airness and Rare Air and all the books that I have and all that stuff. So that was really our introduction into really truly loving sports, because even if you were a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan or whatever it is, you're a fan because they're local, right? You were not Jordan brought the casual fan into the sports landscape, into understanding what it is to have pride, not only for your city but the sport, and like just every single day, kids are at the court. Jordan, that's all, even to this day.
Well, yeah, I would now I hear because the generational gap, but like I would hear more Kobe, but it's the same thing.
Over the last couple of years, I heard COVID.
Oh, wow!
Way to bang the mics there, but ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 6 Michael Jordan moments. We'll be right back with Stirring the Pot after a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
This is Enrique Calderon coming to you from True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Come check me out on social media, Enrique Calderon Official on Instagram and Facebook. Check us out.
Y te lo dice
Enrique Calderon.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Oh, yeah.
It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, what you got for us?
So we had a bevy of food that's on Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
And one of the things that we look for over there is, of course, snacks. Because, I usually do a chili every year. We didn't have that many people this year, so I was like, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
But we did pick up this dip because, and I've been I've been eating this with the Dots pretzels that Juan put me onto a couple years ago. But at Sam's Club under the brand of Members Mark, there is a bacon, cheddar, and ranch dip, and this is a 24-ounce tub, and I do mean tub, of dip that I've been working through for a while now, and it just takes fucking forever.
All right.
So right here in front of us, we have the bacon and cheddar ranch dip, and I'm going to have you go ahead and give it a taste. First of all, just look at it and tell me if you think it's going to be good or not.
It's a tub. It's a tub. It's like a Tupperware tub. It's huge. It's bacon
That's what she
cheddar.
said.
Yeah, a bacon cheddar ranch dip. It's got what is it? Looks like an image of bacon and some cheddar on there on the outside.
Yeah, it's got some bacon and cheddar and ranch.
Made with real cream cheese, cheddar, applewood smoked bacon. All right, so I got these pretzels and let me see. Turn on the camera here because
some dots.
There we go. All right, it's not going to stand up.
Diggity dots.
Yeah. So I have some pretzels here, and I got the bacon cheddar ranch dip, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to dip it really good. I got 2 sticks in there. And, all right, here it goes.
Mac and cheese sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yes, mac and cheese sounds. This is phenomenal. This tastes like Ruffles.
This tastes like Fat Kids.
Oh yeah.
You'll just sit here and eat it, and you can put your vegetables in it if you were someone that eats such disgusting things. It's legit, man. I was eating it more with the Dots pretzels more than anything else. And I would definitely do the 2-4 and just use it like chopsticks to scoop up as much bacon as I could in my mouth at one time.
Going for round 2 here.
There you go. It's good, man. It's good.
Phenomenal.
Now, here to be fair, there were 2 other dips that we got from there. One is a Green Goddess dip, which if you ever look up Green Goddess, and it's like
Green Giant.
It's like a bunch of disgusting stuff because it's like cilantro and whatever other green, because it's all the green
kale, spinach,
cilantro. I was like, let me give this a try. It's awful. It is absolutely disgusting. And then for someone like myself who is not a fan of pickles, there was also like this dill flavored dip that my daughter wanted, and that shit was also gross. But I give it a chance, and I was like, nope, y'all can keep them ones, but this one's legit.
So this is halfway down the mark.
Yeah, we definitely been working at it.
Yeah, and I like how he says we because I'm pretty sure it's been all of him.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
It is all you.
That thing was definitely more full when you got here. A lot more full. Don't give me that bullshit.
I like how you put it on me now. Okay. Oh, that was awesome. This is a great dip. If you're in Sam's Club visiting, go order this shit. This is amazing. This is probably gonna last you about 3 months if it's just by yourself.
Here's the worst thing is that we picked that up a few weeks ago, right? And I won't eat that much. Like I'll eat it for like a couple minutes and then I'll put it away because I'm like, if I eat too much of it, I know I'm just gonna get sick, right?
Yeah.
And then for Super Bowl, we got a whole brand new one. Because we're like, okay, we just had we make sure we had plenty of food. We had sandwiches, we had cookies, we had all types of sweets and beer and but that was quite a bit.
I would put that on my sandwich.
Yeah,
cold cut sandwich.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Meal.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Where I'm like, no mayo, pull out the ranch, pull out the ranch, like the ranch dip or whatever. Yeah, it's legit, man.
I'm trying to think of something you don't want to put that on.
Ice cream.
Yeah. Well,
although the sweet saltiness. So there's this dude that has I don't remember his name, but he He is on like TikTok and like Facebook Reels is where I see him because I'm old, so I watch Facebook Reels instead of TikTok. But essentially, what he does is he finds really old cookbooks and he does recipes from like old. He's like, here's a peanut butter cake from 1941 because he goes rations of eggs and butter were rare at the time, so so they made recipes whatever. And it was like 3 ingredients. He was like baking soda, milk, and peanut butter. And he just mix it together, or like flour, right? And mix it together. You put it in the thing, and then he tries it. And he's like, this is amazing. So he's literally he's been going through, and he'll make all these old school recipes. But he's funny. He's like, instead of milk, it's called moo juice, right? Instead of baking soda, it's called floof powder, right? It's just a silly guy. Yeah. He has like that little poof of hair like Conan O'Brien in his early days and shit. Man. But he's very energetic. And he actually, I don't remember his name, but he just put out a cookbook of all these old school recipes. Wow. So, and he'll try them, and if they're good, they're good. These are the best recipes. But yeah, so that's what that kind of reminds me of. Is like, what wouldn't I try this with? And I was like, hey man, if you ain't got nothing, and rations are slim,
eggs are expensive.
Yeah, they're fucking where they are, man. They said what on Easter they're gonna be throwing rocks or something, or you're hiding rocks or whatever. It was something really expensive that you were gonna do instead of like using eggs this year for Easter.
Jesus, you have to buy a chicken.
That's true too. I mean, maybe we'll get LeBron. Woo! Shots fired. Bang, 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 bang.
Full circle.
All right, sir. Before we go, what you looking at? What are you watching that isn't sports?
Well, now that I'm on the E-Roc schedule where I'm coaching and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I haven't been watching much. But I did watch. I caught up with 1923, so I'm very current with 1923.
Tequila?
Yes. Yes. I always say yes to tequila. 1923 is another Taylor Sheridan shows. So it's 1883, 1923, and then it's Yellowstone. So that is part of the Yellowstone family universe. So it is the whole Dutton family, and they're going through the transition of having electricity, having water being brought in, gas. So like that era,
bathing and wiping your ass,
pretty much. So I got caught up, and I was confused for a good 4 episodes because there's 3 stories going on. There's Harrison Ford story, the current time, and then I thought the second story was him and his wife as early 20s, but apparently not. It's his other son, who was out in Africa, who was out there hunting after the war.
Oh, okay.
So he was hired as a bounty hunter to hunt down animals and so forth. And then there's another story about a Native American girl, because in that time they took Native Americans from their tribes, the girls, and they put them in schools to re-educate them into the American way. So
yeah, teach them God.
Yeah,
you got to teach them savages about God.
Exactly what that is. 14 minutes. Yeah. So that's essentially what that was, and it's a really good show. It's a little, obviously that whole section part of it is controversial, but it's actual what happened in U.S. history. So you've got to address it. And you've got to show exactly what happened.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
hopefully it's real, or it's actual. Historically factual, actual factual.
And then Picard, the final season. I saw the first episode, and the reason I'm going to watch it is because they're bringing the entire cast of Star Trek Generation.
I saw the Geordie LaForge there, and Deanna Troi was my film. I love Deanna Troi back in the day. Yeah, and Will Wheaton's mom, the doctor.
Yeah,
what was her name? Dr. Deanna something. No,
there's Deanna Troi, and then the doctor. I forgot she's in the first episode.
Yeah, because that was the one that was kind of had the relationship with Picard, and then Jonathan Frakes. Oh, I watched TNG.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where it goes full circle into the first episode. So that
Data.
Is it Spiner, right?
Brent Spinner.
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 Yeah,
Spangler.
Yeah, his birthday was a couple days ago as well. he did like 4 or 5 different iterations of Data.
Yeah.
He played his creator's creator, and he was in Independence Day as well.
Michael Dorn as Worf.
Michael Dorn as Worf.
Yeah.
And
Love
then
Worf.
Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
He also voiced Gargoyles. He voiced a lot of animated stuff.
Yep.
He directed a whole bunch of stuff, and he was also on one of my favorite podcasts, the Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my favorite podcasts.
Okay, look at this guy.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts and watch podcasts.
Oh, man.
What about you, man?
I've been watching a couple of different things. Number one, I'm watching part 3. It's not season 3. It's part 3 of the Upshaws with Mike Epps. This is one of those real corny kind of Netflix shows that has all the same feel, and it's not a great show, but I mean, like, I've been watching it since season or part 1, and it's essentially Mike Epps and Kim Fields are a married couple. Wanda Sykes is Kim Fields' sister, and they go through their the trials and tribulations of raising kids as a middle class family in Indiana. So that is
same formula, just repackaged.
Yeah, and like, I don't like Mike Epps' stand up. It's pretty bad. So this is very like formulated, very scripted. Like, he's married to Kim Fields, but they never kiss. Like, it's like hug and like, but so like, and there's like they have an older son. So essentially the storyline is that she got pregnant when she was 16, and they have a son that's grown now, and he has a child. But he's gay. So, but when he was younger, he didn't know he was gay. So yeah, they had a relationship, and like, he had a child young. So like, yeah, and so like, they essentially have like a daughter and a granddaughter who are the same age. And it's a lot of like dynamic, and it addresses a lot of issues with mental health and LGBT like Q families, and like how they integrate, and how older generations perceive, like, what would you do if your son was gay? Well, like, you love him because it's your son. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of different stuff there. And then, so that was one, again, it was one of those shows that kind of followed from back in the day, but from the last couple of seasons. So I dove right back into that as soon as they said, "Oh, coming soon, Upshaws Part 3," and I was like, "Well, I'm watching that." Have you seen this at all?
No, not at all. I've never seen it. But I like Mike Epps as doing cameos in movies, but I don't think he, like you said, his stand up is okay. So I don't think it's great.
Yeah, it's not very good. Speaking of stand-up, I also did watch one of my favorite comedians, Jim Jeffries. Brand new special just came out. Jim Jeffries, High and Dry, and that's because he stopped drinking and now he smokes weed. So that's why he.
Good for him.
Yeah, even though he was pretty famous for his drinking. On stage and all, he always had a big beard and shit like that. But yeah, I like him. I've always liked Jim Jeffries, especially for me as a parent, like him talking about like, finding time to be with your partner, and like trying not to fall asleep on the sofa. It's like shit like that, like, because he has a son, and he just got married, so like it's all about that. And then finally, what I started watching was the Bill Russell special on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And that is fantastic. Yes, it's sports related, but who gives a shit? It is fantastic.
It's our segment. Damn
it. Yeah, that's right. Damn it. But it's talking about his trials and tribulations, the way he came up playing basketball, his involvement with the civil rights movement, being right there with Martin Luther King, just alongside him with Muhammad Ali, and just the way that he had to navigate through it, very similar to the way that Jackie Robinson was not served at certain places, right. And it was just, it's a very interesting, it's a 2-part series, very interesting perspectives, especially coming off of his passing last year, and just talking about his influence and how he really changed the modern like defensive game of basketball. Like, one thing I didn't know was that it was always questioned how he would be able to have a part and have an impact in the NBA team. He was so big and lanky. And one day he went out there, and I forget who he was playing, but he started blocking their shots by just jumping and swatting the shit out of it, not to the crowd, but back to one of his teammates. And he did that 3 or 4 times to the team they're playing. I think the Lakers, their best scorer. And he comes back to the huddle, and the coach is like, "You can't play defense like that. Defense is played on your feet." He's like, "Okay." So he tried to play that way, and they were just going all over him. So he's like, "I'm going to play the way I know how to play." And it was literally the first like true shot blocker right? So then he wasn't very good offensively, but I mean, like, he has more rings than fingers, right? Like, okay, shit. Now, could he play today?
Probably not.
He could, but he was just thin, and he was also playing against white guys, right? Like, that's the difference. So him, Bob Cousy, and it just talking about his upbringing, the struggles he had to go through, his working through civil rights movements, issues, and things like that. So it's definitely something that for a sports fan, you have to dig into it and appreciate what you're seeing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal. Have you seen it at all?
No, but it is. I do have Monday off. So.
Racist.
Now you sound like my students.
Speaking of which, just because I didn't get to say before, Bobby Hall's a piece of shit. I'm just letting y'all know.
Yes, he is.
I'm putting that out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. That is it for today. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. And don't forget to check out the rest of the 606 Media lineup. The newest show in our family is No Water on the Weekend with Stephen and Sean. It's a pop culture forward podcast that dabbles in funny trivia, film, television, music, and Chicago-centric news and happenings. New episodes available on Mondays wherever you listen to your podcasts. And the All Net podcast is available after every Bulls game. Check out All Net with Mike Logic and Ideal wherever you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to check out the brand new EP by Mike Logic and Joey Childs, Too Much to Text, Volume 1. You can find it on Mike Logic's Bandcamp, Mike Logic, MICLOGIK. Go and check him out. We just literally did our own little private listening here before we started recording. I went a few weeks ago and checked out the listening party for that, and
definitely a great
it's
album.
dope, man. I can't wait. And then, of course, Ideal's new project, Feliz y Guapo, coming out 3/3/23. That's pretty dope too, so make sure you go and check them out. And don't forget, the Shy Native Radio podcast is now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you go check out what Shy Native has got going on. A shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Serious Beats, and Custom Made for the beats we played on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your Moleman merch and gear. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at Shoe Shy Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Reach out to us, hit the DMs, tell us what you think about the show, give us your ideas for Stirring the Pot and movie recommendations. And you can also hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 132. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Swish.
I always like to keep my favorite snack handy. Need a little excitement? Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth. Loverboy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos.
Show's over, show's over, show's over.